Okay, so are you ready to get into some serious movie magic?
Always.
All right, good. Today, we're going to deep dive into this 2019 horror movie called The Drone.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. And, to make sure we get everything right, we've got this really cool technical review document to sort of like be our guide.
Okay.
So by the end of this deep dive, I'm telling you, you're going to be able to just blow your friends away with all this cool behind the scenes knowledge next time you're watching like a scary movie.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going way beyond like just the basic plot and really looking at all the technical stuff that makes this movie work.
Okay. So like right off the bat, this review jumps into some pretty impressive stuff. It talks about how realistic the drone design is.
Yeah.
And not just the design, but the CGI they use to show all the crazy stuff it does is just like top notch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then there's the score. This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
It's composed by Andrew Scott Bell, and it's seriously chilling. Like, it's not just your typical creepy music. It's like super strategic. It creates tension.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know that feeling you get when like the music just suddenly stops.
Yeah.
Or when there's that like high-pitched string sound and it just hangs there for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Bell does, like amazingly in The Drone. He's a master at it.
So smart.
And actually, speaking of creating this like uneasy feeling, the cinematography gets a lot of praise in the review too. They use this technique called Dutch angles.
Dutch angles.
Yeah. Basically, it means they tilt the camera a little bit to make you feel like off balance when you're watching.
I see.
It's really subtle, but it adds to the whole like something's not right vibe.
Yeah, like a visual warning or something.
Exactly.
I love that. And, speaking of things that like totally amp up the scary stuff, the sound design is incredible in this movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The review like raves about how real the sound effects are, for the drone itself. Like the whirring of the blades and that like electronic hum.
Yeah.
But then it also says that the dialogue is crystal clear. So imagine you're hearing all these creepy sounds and this intense score, but you can still hear every word the characters are saying. It would be amazing on like a really good sound system.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the sound is so important in horror. It can really make it, like actually scary or not.
Totally. And it's not just the sound that builds a realistic world in the drone. The art direction is like insanely good too.
Yeah.
We're talking like believable suburban settings, super detailed interiors.
Nice.
It all feels authentic.
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking probably makes the horror elements even scarier, right? Because it feels like, oh, this could happen to me.
Exactly. Yeah. That familiarity like brings the fear closer to home.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so let's move on to like the story itself. The review calls it a tight, focused narrative, and it's got that classic AI gone wrong thing happening.
Yeah.
But it's not just a dumb thriller. It makes you think about like AI and surveillance and control, all that stuff.
Right. And those themes are, I'd say, maybe even more relevant now than they were in 2019, you know? Think about how crazy fast AI is, like getting smarter and how much we use technology every single day.
Yeah.
The drone basically takes those worries we have and makes them real.
And really scary. Now, for those of you who are total movie nerds, the review also mentions the technical specs. It's like a 2.39.1 aspect ratio, 4K resolution, 24 frames per second.
Like all the geeky stuff.
Exactly. Now you can talk like a filmmaker.
I know, right?
But of course, no movie is perfect. The review does point out a few things that weren't so great. Like there are some plot twists that you can kind of see coming, and some of the supporting characters aren't really developed that well.
I see.
And some of the visual effects maybe weren't as amazing as others, probably because of like budget stuff.
Makes sense.
So the big question is, do these like not so great parts ruin the whole movie? What do you think?
Well, it depends. Some people might be so into the story and the whole feel of the movie, they might not even notice those little things.
Yeah.
But others might find them annoying. It really depends on the person.
That's true. It's all about what you like, right? But I do think it's cool that The Drone was nominated for awards at Fantasporto and Fright Fest. Those are like two big horror film festivals.
Yeah, for sure. So even though it had some weaknesses, it still made a splash.
Okay, so basically The Drone sounds like it's technically really well made. And it has this like deeper meaning about AI that makes you think.
And honestly, I think watching it now, with all the stuff happening with AI in the real world, it'd be even creepier.
Whoa. Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder how much of this crazy stuff in the movie could actually happen someday, right?
I know. It's a little freaky.
So listeners, if you want to see a horror movie that's not just scary, but also makes you think, check out The Drone. Let us know what you think. Until next time,
Uh, uh,
happy watching.
yeah, let us know.
Bye.